They said, you can't do it. They looked you in the face and said, it's not possible for someone like you. Maybe it was quiet. Maybe it wasn't loud. But it wasn't loud. But it echoed inside you, didn't it? That feeling, that punch to the gut when someone doubts you. They look at your background, your flaws, your past, and they make a decision. You won't make it. And I'm telling you right now, that moment, that single moment is not something to cry about. It's not something to be afraid of. That is the moment you light your fire. That doubt is not a curse. It's a gift. It's your spark. It's your wake-up call. It's the reminder that no one's gonna hand it to you. And that's why it's so worth it. You gotta feel that heat, that pressure, that voice in your ear saying, well, you're not good enough. Most people hear that and they shut down. Most people fold, but not you, not anymore. When you hear doubt, you don't run from it. You run toward it, you flip it, you use it. Because you're not built like everybody else. You're different, you're hungry, you're wired for greatness. You're done. And greatness isn't born in comfort, it's born in resistance. It's born when the world says a no and you keep pushing until it turns into a yes. That you can't has to become your watch me. That you're not enough becomes your fuel. That you'll never do it. That's the very thing that drives you to do it again and again and again until they shut up or give up. See, we live in a world where people love to talk. They talk and they judge and they assume. But they don't see the hours. They don't see the tears. They don't see the early mornings or the late nights. They don't see the grind. And that's fine because it's not your job to make them see. It's your job to burn with purpose. To take every ounce of that doubt and turn it into discipline, focus, fire. Let them doubt. Let them laugh. Let them sleep on you. That just means you get to wake them up. Every time someone throws doubt your way, you build higher. Every time they dismiss you, you get louder with your results. Because when you got drive, when you've got that inner fire, you don't need applause. You don't need validation. You don't need them to understand. Your mission is bigger than their approval. Your dream is bigger than their limitations. You weren't created to be average. You weren't designed to sit quietly while the world tells you your place. You were born to rise. You were born to turn pressure into power, doubt into discipline, fear into focus. There's gonna be days when you doubt yourself too. That voice isn't just on the outside. Sometimes it's inside your own head. But here's the key. When that voice comes, don't argue with it. Don't fight it. Feed off it. Let it challenge you. Let it push you. Let it be the reminder that what you're chasing is worth it. Because if it wasn't worth it, no one would be trying to stop you. If your dream didn't matter, they wouldn't be questioning you. The fact that there's doubt means there's something powerful on the other side, something only you can build. So every time you hear the doubt, don't sink. Rise. Every time someone says you can't, you tell yourself, I already did in my mind. You show up earlier, you stay later, you go harder. Because while they talk, you're walking. While they rest, you're rising. While they judge, you grind. You've got a fire in your gut they can't touch. And that fire's everything. That's the drive that will carry you when the motivation fades. That's the passion that will keep your feet moving when your body says stop. That's the voice that says, let them doubt. I'll do it anyway. You've been underestimated your whole life. That's not a problem. That's your edge. That's your leverage. While they're comfortable, you're getting uncomfortable. While they're laughing, you're working. You've already decided. This is the moment you break through. You don't need their approval. You don't need their belief. You just need your fire, and that's already inside you. So turn the volume up. Get locked in. Take that doubt and make it your daily fuel. Let it remind you every day why you do what you do, why you wake up hungry, why you refuse to quit. Because the goal is not to prove them wrong. The goal is to prove yourself right. You are worthy. You are enough. You are ready. You are ready. Go light it up. Don't let their voice become your voice. It starts small. Maybe it's a teacher, a friend, a parent, or a stranger who looks at you and says something negative. Maybe they don't even say it out loud. Maybe it's just in the way they look at you. Like you're not capable. Like you're not capable. Like you're less than. Like you'll never rise above your circumstances. And at first you brush it off. You act like it doesn't bother you. But if you're not careful, that voice becomes internal. You start repeating their words to yourself. You start second guessing. You start holding back. You stop going all in. And little by little, you start believing what they said. That's the trap. That's the danger. It's not their words that destroy dreams. It's you believing them that does the damage. You've got to learn how to silence the noise. You've got to build a wall between their doubt and your destiny. Because if you don't, you'll spend your whole life walking someone else's path. You'll carry someone else's opinion like it's your truth. And I'm telling you right now, what they think about you does not define you. What they say about you does not build your life. Only you do that. Every day and every choice and every moment, you decide who you are. You write your story. You define your name. And you got to start owning that power. Too many people are walking around with someone else's voice in their head. They let the opinions of others narrate their life. That coach who benched you, that teacher who said you never be smart enough, that boss who told you never leave, that family member who laughed at your dreams. You've been dragging that weight around for years, and it's time to drop it. It's time to replace that voice with your own, one that says, I am capable, I do belong, I will win. You don't need permission to believe in yourself. You don't need validation to walk in purpose. You don't need anyone to agree with you to be great. You just need to decide that you're done letting people rent space in your mind for free. That's where a true drive comes from. Not from proving them wrong, but from finally believing you're right about who you are. You don't need their approval when you got your own conviction. You've got to learn how to talk to yourself different. Stop waiting for the world to hype you up. You've got to be your own motivation, your own encouragement, your own believer. When you wake up and look in the mirror, you got to be the one who says, let's go. We've got something to prove. Not to them, but to ourselves. That means shutting down the old story. That narrative that plays in your head, that says you're not enough, that you always mess it up, that nothing ever changes. That's not true. That's trauma, that's pain, that's fear. That's years of carrying words that were never meant to be yours. You've got to rewrite it. You've got to flip the script. You've got to start speaking from a place of strength, not survival. You've made it this far. You've been through too much to let the past speak louder than your purpose. Every time that old voice shows up, the one that whispers, who do you think you are? You answer it boldly. Well, I'm exactly who I say I am. And then you get to work. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your dream. You just need to act like the person you're becoming. You train like them. You show up like them. You grind like them, even when no one sees it, even when no one claps. That's what belief looks like. That's what drive looks like. It's not about getting loud. It's about getting locked in. And don't get it twisted. There will still be doubters. There will still be people who question your path, who underestimate you, who talk behind your back. That's fine. Let them talk. That's their job. Your job is to walk. Your job is to lead. Your job is to stay focused. Because while they're running their mouth, you're running your race. And eventually they're going to see it. They're going to realize you were serious all along. But by then, it won't even matter because you won't need their recognition. You'll be too busy living the life you built. So take your power back. Take your voice back. Stop letting their words echo in your mind louder than your own. You got something inside you that they can't measure. They can't predict it. They can't define it. Only you can. And the moment you decide to take control of your narrative is the moment everything changes. You stop doubting and start doing. You stop hesitating and start creating. You stop shrinking and start standing tall. This is your life, your journey, your voice. Speak it with power. Speak it with purpose. And let no one else define who you are. You can't outdoubt the doubters, but you can outwork them. Every single person who's ever told you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not built for it. They can talk all they want, but talk doesn't win chips. Talk doesn't build legacies. Talk doesn't get you across the finish line. Work does. The grind does. The early mornings, the late nights, the times when no one is watching and you still show up. That's what changes everything. You want to silence doubt. You want to shut down every critic, every hater, every voice that said you'll never make it. Then outwork it, outlast it, outgrind it. Because most people stop at the first sign of resistance. They get one door closed and they walk away. But not you. You made a decision to keep going. Well, you've decided that no amount of rejection, no amount of criticism, no amount of failure is going to keep you from what's yours. That's what separates the ones who talk from the ones who deliver. You can't afford to let emotions run your actions. You can't wait until you feel motivated. The work has to happen whether you feel like it or not. That's the discipline. That's the difference. There will be days when you wake up tired. There will be days when everything in you says to take it easy, skip the reps, put it off till tomorrow. But that's when you double down. That's when you go harder. Because it's in those moments that you're building the real you, the strong you, the relentless you. Anyone can grind when they're hyped up. Anyone can give effort when things are going their way. But true drive, real hunger, is revealed when it's hard, when it hurts, when it's inconvenient. That's when you show the world who you are. It's loud, but effort is louder. Results are louder. Results don't lie. You don't have to scream your worth, you just have to show it. When you show up day after day, when you put in the reps no one sees, when you push past what's comfortable, that's when the doubters start to fade. Because your work will speak so loudly, they'll have no choice but to notice. But that's not why you do it. You don't grind for attention. You grind for the outcome, for the growth, for the transformation. You grind because there's something inside you that knows what you're capable of, even when no one else does. You have to want it so badly that you're willing to go where others won't. You have to want it so badly that you stop comparing, stop complaining, and start climbing. Everyone wants success, but not everyone is willing to earn it. Not everyone is willing to sweat for it. Not everyone is willing to sacrifice sleep, comfort, distractions, ego for the sake of the mission, That's why most people stay average. But you weren't born to be average. You weren't built to be ordinary. You were made for more, and the only way to tap into that is through work. You want to prove yourself. You want to rise above the noise. Then put your head down and build. Study harder. Train longer. Show up earlier. Stay later. Be the one who's still grinding when everyone else has tapped out. Because that's where the breakthrough happens. That's where the growth lives. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not when everyone's clapping, but when no one's looking. If you can be great when no one's watching, you'll be unstoppable when the lights come on. And don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel 100% ready. Start where you are. Use what you have. Build from the ground up if you have to. But start, move, grind. Let your consistency become your confidence. Every time you show up, you're proving to yourself that you've got what it takes. Every time you push through, you're building mental toughness. That's how you get stronger. That's how you outwork every excuse. Because excuses are easy. Anyone can make them. Life's hard. Circumstances are unfair. People overlook you. That's all real. But you can either focus on what's wrong or focus on what you can control. You can either feed your doubts or fuel your drive. You can either sit back and hope it happens or get up and make it happen. You have to make a choice every day, over and over again. And if you choose work, real, focused, intentional work, then nothing can stop you. So when the doubts come, and they will, we don't talk back to them, just get back to work. Let them talk, let them doubt, but let them see too. Let them see what happens when you're consistent. Let them see what happens when you refuse to quit. Let them witness the power of someone who decided to earn it every single day. You don't need to defend yourself or yourself. You don't need to argue. You just need to keep moving forward. Keep stacking wins. Keep grinding in silence and let success make the noise. Every setback you faced, every moment you've been overlooked, every time someone told you that you couldn't do it, that pain wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to develop you. Most people run from pain. Most people avoid it, numb it, or use it as a reason to stop. But you've got to be different. You've got to make a decision that your pain will have a purpose. You take what was meant to break you and you build with it. You take every tear, every disappointment, every sleepless night, you turn it into fuel. That pain is not a weakness, it's a weapon. But only if you're willing to pick it up and use it. There's a version of you that only shows up under pressure. A version of you that's sharper, stronger, more focused when everything's on the line. That version doesn't come out when life is easy. That version is forged in struggle, in heartbreak, in failure. And that's why you can't waste your pain. You can't bury it. You can't pretend it didn't happen. You gotta dig into it and pull out the lesson, the strength, the grit. There's power in your scars. There's something sacred about surviving what was meant to break you and still getting up with fire in your eyes. See, you weren't built in the wins. You were built in the losses. You weren't shaped by applause. You were shaped by the silence. You grew the most when no one believed, when no one helped, when you had to figure it out by yourself. And that pain you carry, that's your advantage. That's your advantage. That's the thing that separates you from the people who only know comfort. They've never had to fight through what you fought through. They've never had to carry what you carry. So while they panic under pressure, you stay calm. While they fold in adversity, you rise. Because you've already been through worse and you didn't quit then. So you sure as hell aren't quitting now. You don't need a perfect situation. You don't need everything to go right. All you need is to remember who you are. What you've been through, what you've already survived. That's your fire. That's what makes you dangerous. Because a person who's been hurt and still keeps going, a person who's been doubted and still believes, that's a person you can't stop. That's a person who's already won before the battle even begins. Some people get bitter from pain, but not you. You get better. You learn, you grow, you evolve. You take that pain and you use it to strengthen your character. You let it sharpen your focus. You let it push you to become someone you wouldn't have become without it. That's how you turn pain into power. You turn the worst moments into the foundation of your best self. You stop seeing what happened to you as a curse and start seeing it as the catalyst that woke you up. That moment you felt like giving up, that was the moment you were being rebuilt. That wasn't the end. It was the beginning of your comeback. You have to remind yourself that pressure isn't there to crush you. It's there to create you. Diamonds don't come from comfort. They come from extreme heat and pressure. Steel doesn't become strong until it's been tested in fire. And the same is true for you. You've been through fire. You felt the heat. You've been under pressure so intense, it felt like it might break you. But here you are, still breathing, still standing, still fighting. And that means something. That means the fire didn't win. The fire didn't win. That means the pain didn't define you. It refined you. So the next time life hits you, don't ask her why me. Ask her what now? Don't fall into self-pity. Don't look for sympathy. Get back up and keep moving. Because the greatest thing you'll ever do isn't avoiding pain. It's learning how to transform it. That's the kind of strength that can't be taught. That's the kind of drive that's born from going through the kind of hell most people wouldn't survive and still coming out on the other side with your vision intact, with your purpose unshaken, with your hunger turned all the way up. People may look at you and never know the battles you fought. They may never understand the things you had to endure just to smile, just to show up, just to keep going. But that's okay, because your story isn't for them, it's for you. It's the reason you go so hard. It's the reason you refuse to quit. It's the reason you show up with intensity and passion every single time. Because you know what it took to get, and you're not gonna waste it. Pain didn't stop you. It activated you, and now you use it. You let it remind you of what you've overcome. You let it drive you when the motivation is gone. You let it push you when the path gets hard. Because you've already walked through storm. You've already carried weight most people couldn't handle. And yet, you rise again and again. That's not luck. That's power. That's fire. That's unshakable will. That's only getting stronger. You can't fake hunger. You can't pretend to want it and expect the results to show up. Real hunger shows up in your eyes, in your energy, and how you walk into a room, and how you train when no one's watching, and how you chase greatness when no one believes in you. When you're truly hungry, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming your past. You stop waiting for opportunities to be handed to you. You go and create them. You grind for them. You sacrifice for them. Because when you're hungry, comfort doesn't control you. Purpose does. You don't need motivation to keep going. Hunger becomes your fuel. And once you taste what it feels like to move with that kind of intensity, you'll never want to go back to average again. Hunger is not a trend. It's not a short burst of energy after a win or a burst of motivation from a video. No video. Hunger is that quiet voice that wakes you up early and keeps you up late. It's the internal alarm clock that tells you, I'm not there yet, and I refuse to settle until I get it. It doesn't matter how far you've come. If you're really hungry, you're never satisfied. You're grateful, but not content. Dope, but not content. Because hunger isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. It's about pushing your limits, breaking through plateaus, and climbing higher, even when the view already looks good. You know when someone's hungry because they don't just talk, they act. They don't wait to feel ready. They move with urgency. They don't sit back and hope. They hustle and make it happen. Hunger doesn't ask for the perfect conditions. It doesn't care if the time is ideal or if you have everything you need. Hunger says, let's start with what you have. Build from as you go. Grow as you grind. Most people want it easy. They want the shortcut, the hack, the magic formula. But the hungry, they want the hard road because they know it's the hard road that separates the real from the fake. It's the hard road that builds something that lasts. And here's the truth. Hunger is what makes you dangerous because a hungry person doesn't fold under pressure. A hungry person doesn't back down just because it's tough. A hungry person becomes more focused the harder it gets. That hunger creates tunnel vision. You stop caring about distractions, opinions, drama, or comfort. You're locked in. You're on a mission, and people might not understand it. They might call you obsessed. But obsession isn't a problem when you're chasing purpose. Obsession isn't a weakness when you're building legacy. In fact, that level of hunger is what the greats live with. Every champion you admire, every leader who rose from the bottom, every game changer who shifted culture, they had that hunger, and they never left. Even when they succeeded, they stayed hungry. That's what made them different. They didn't allow success to soften them. They didn't let a win convince them to take it easy because they understood something most people don't. The moment you get comfortable is the moment you start declining. So they stay sharp, stay grinding, stay learning. Hunger keeps you evolving. It keeps you from settling. It keeps you from becoming a version of yourself that's satisfied with good enough when you were born for greatness. But hunger isn't just about ambition. It's also about purpose. It's about knowing why you're doing what you're doing. When your hunger is rooted in something deep, like changing your family's legacy, breaking generational curses, honoring your struggle, proving to yourself that you're more than your past. That kind of hunger doesn't fade. That kind of hunger is spiritual. It's emotional. It's wired into your DNA. And every time life hits you, that hunger hits back harder. That's what keeps you going when you're tired. That's what picks you up when you fall. That's what whispers to keep going when everything else is telling you to quit. And you can feel when someone's lost their hunger. You can hear it in their voice, see it in their eyes. They stop showing up early. They stop staying late. They stop making excuses, cutting corners, hoping to get lucky, instead of staying locked into the grind. But not you, not anymore. You've made a decision that you're going to stay hungry, no matter what. That you're going to keep pushing when most people are satisfied. That you're going to keep grinding when most people are relaxing. Because you know the cost of complacency. You've tasted what it feels like to be empty, to be overlooked, to be underestimated. And you're not going back there. You've decided that hunger is your standard, not once in a while, every day. So every morning you wake up, remind yourself of the vision. Remind yourself of what's at stake. Remind yourself of the people counting on you to rise. And let that fire take over. Let that hunger push you through the discomfort. Let it push you past the pain.